To all the dignitaries, I am honored to be a part of such an intellectual conversation. There has been an ocean of knowledge that has been provided to us, and it almost feels like it is not my place to say anything, but I will muster up all the courage I have and try to contribute one drop to this ocean. When we speak about inclusive growth, firstly, when we speak about growth, any kind of growth, especially growth of young people, inclusive growth is very important. Without growth that is inclusive, growth will be superficial. Now, speaking of inclusive growth, the first thing that comes to your mind is mainstream, making people a part of the mainstream. That is what it means to be inclusive. However, there is a reason the word mainstream has stream in it. It's narrow. So, instead of stuffing everybody into that mainstream, however, I feel it's important to expand that stream itself so as to include people who are in the periphery. So instead of trying to bring everybody to the center, into the mainstream, expand the stream so it reaches the periphery and includes everybody. And now access is very important. So opening doors is important. However, if I've opened a door and that door is 269 kilometers away from me, it is going to be difficult for me to reach that open door. So it's also important for me to have access to that door even if it is open. So that is also a part of inclusive growth. Access to education, but access to also dignity. Dignity to choose how I want to grow. Dignity to have a very unique definition of growth that is different from your definition. And dignity to not give myself up or what I believe in order to fit into a generic idea of what growth is.
So I'll be speaking on the topic mental health and well-being, the silent backbone of youth. It's well known that when people talk about youth empowerment, we usually hear education, skill building, leadership, or economic interdependence. These are vital, but there's one thing we often forget, the quiet hero working behind the scenes, mental health and well-being. Without it, all the talent, education, and opportunities in the world can feel like you're trying to run a race with untied shoes. Mental health is not just about not having a disorder, it's about how we feel, think, and cope with life. The World Health Organization defines it as a state of
youth leadership in a changing democracy. There is a truth I hold close to my heart. Every generation is called upon to write our next new chapter in story of democracy. Today, that call has come to us, the youth. And in the moment, in the fast-changing world, the question is not will democracy survive, but rather will we, the youth, keep it alive. Democracy is not carved in a stone, it is written on the pages of each generation. It grows when people participate, and with this, when people turn away. Our role as young people is not to simply inherit this system like a piece of old furniture. Our role is to question it, renew it, and when necessary, rebuild it. We are not just future leaders, we are the present pulse of society, and our energy, our ideas, our courage to challenge the status quo, these are not threats to democracy, they are the very reason to survive. Civic engagement is not limited to a casting a vote every few years. It is a way of life. It is a courage to stay informed in an age of endless distraction. It is a willingness to volunteer not for applause but for impact. It is a refusal to be silent when fairness is at stake. When we step forward, whether through political awareness, community service, or grassroots leadership, we declare something powerful. I belong to this society and I will shape its direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Topic: Education Reimagined, Bridging the Skills Gap in the Digital Age. This hall itself represents the generations, and as our guest Padma Jaiswal ma'am mentioned about her education system when she was in school, so we all must agree that in today's world where we are living, transformation of this generation is at a pace that no other generation has witnessed before. We are talking about AI, digital economy, and which are rewriting the rules of today's work. According to a World Economic Forum report, by 2030, over 1 billion people worldwide will need reskilling to keep up the technological advancement. And even India itself requires 53% of employees will require new skills to remain for next 3 years as employable. Here lies our challenge, the skills gap. Traditional education, while foundational, often lags behind the demands of 21st century economy.